Good evening, Rabbi. As you know, on Chanuka we have also Rosh Chodesh that comes up. Rosh Chodesh Tebet.
Yeah.
So the question is, how do we do the Rosh Chodesh and Chanuka together? What's the way it's done? So there's two options, right? One is that sometimes Rosh Chodesh falls on Shabbat, right? And sometimes Rosh Chodesh falls on Chol. One or the other, right? So what happens is like this: when you have Chanuka, Rosh Chodesh, and Shabbat together, you take out 3 Sefer Torah. 3 Sefer Torah.
Yeah.
Right? The first 6 readers, they read Pasha Shavua. Right? Whatever it may be. Right? Miketz, whatever it is, right? They read the Pasha Shavua. Then the 7th reader, right? The Mashlim, he reads Rosh Chodesh.
Yeah.
In the 2nd Sefer. And then in the 3rd Sefer, we read Chanuka.
Yeah.
So where is the Kriya for Chanuka? It's in Parshat Naso. That's where it's from, right?
Yeah.
Parshat Naso. What is it talking about? It's talking about the offerings that were brought by the Nesi'im in the Mishkan. Why? Because that's also called Chanukat Mizbeach. So it's similar to Chag Chanuka, you know? What does it mean, Chanuka, the word Chanuka? It means dedication. What does that mean? You start to do something. You start to do some kind of avodah. That's called Chanukat. Chanukat avodah, Chanukat habayit, Chanukat Mishkan, whatever it may be. So Chanuka means you start to do avodah, the service there, you know. So that's why that was called Chanuka, and they start to do the Mishkan. And also here, when they start to do the Bet HaMikdash again after the Yevanim, they messed up the Bet HaMikdash. They made a big mess over there. They did a lot of damage, and a lot of damages were done everywhere on all kinds of things. So what happened was that they had to restart the avodah of the Bet HaMikdash. That's why they called it Chanuka, right? They start again to do the avodah over there since it was stopped. So this is the reason why we read from Parshat Naso about the Nesi'im. So what about if Rosh Chodesh falls on Chol, not on Shabbat? What do we do there? So we take out 2 Sefer Torah, right?
Yeah.
2 Sefer Torah. The first 3 readers, how many read, by the way? How many readers do we have on Chanukah? On regular Chanukah, we have 3 readers, right? But on Rosh Chodesh, we have 4. Understand? If it's Rosh Chodesh Chanukah. So what do? We the first 3 readers, they read Rosh Chodesh. And then the last reader, the Mashlim, he reads Chanukah, from the 2nd book. Mm-hmm. We take out 2 Sefer Torah. One is Rosh Chodesh, one is Chanukah. This is the way it's done. So you have to do it this way, right? Sometimes, people don't remember these things so well. So we have to remind the Tzibur how it's done. I want to tell you also something a little bit about Tzitzit, the laws of Tzitzit. That Halacha says, the Shulchan Aruch, Siman Yud, Orach Chaim, that only a beggar which has 4 corners is obligated to have Tzitzit. Only 4 corners. So this is the reason why our jackets, these jackets and the shirts that we wear, they're not obligated to have tzitzit. If you had 4 corners, you would have to put tzitzit also on the jacket and the shirt. Every beggar has to have its own tzitzit. You understand? So now, let me ask you a question. Is this a corner? This one? It's not. You know why? Because it's round. So first of all, this is not a corner because it's round. But let's say it was square, right? And here also, let's say it was square. Okay? And here also square. So does that mean I have 4 corners? I have a square here. I have a square over here. So does that mean now I have to put tzitzit on this beged? So the answer is no. You know why? Even if you have 4 corners, we don't have here in this jacket. We don't have. But even if you had, you wouldn't have to put tzitzit anyway. You know why? Because the way it has to be, it's brought down the Bet Yosef, and also brought down the Ramah Shulchan Aruch. It has to be that the beged has 2 corners in the front like this, and 2 corners in the back like that. That's 4 corners. But if 2 corners are down here, and 2 corners are up here, on your neck, that's not called 4 corners. So this is the reason why we don't put tzitzit on begadim like this, So it has to have only the ones that have 4 corners here and here. That's the ones that have to put tzitzit. So if you want to do the mitzvah, that's the way you do it, right? Obviously. There's no other way to do it. So that's one thing. Also, what about if the beged has 5 corners or 6 corners? What's the halacha? If it has 3 corners, patur. We don't put tzitzit on that. It has to have 4. What about 5 and 6? What's halacha? So the truth is, in the Gemara, there's a machloket about this, but in the Shulchan Aruch, he paskins over there that if it has 5 corners or 6 corners, you have to put tzitzit on that. But the question is, what, every corner I have to put? Let's say I have 6 corners on the beged, right? 6 corners. I have to put 6 tzitzit? 6 tzitzit? Is that the halacha? No, the halacha is not like that. You have to put 4. So what does that mean? You put tzitzit on 4 corners, and 2 corners you don't put because it's only 4. That's the maximum that you put tzitzit. So you put 4 corners. But which corners? The ones that are far from each other, the furthest apart, not the ones that are closest. That's the way it's done. Another interesting how I want to tell you. You see like this? Look at this, okay? You see this is my jacket? It's open, right? A little bit over here. So maybe this is a corner. You see? Right here. This is a corner. Right here, you see? In the back. And I have 2 more also over here. So I do have 4 corners, no? In the jacket. I have here 2 corners. I have here 2 corners. I have 4, yeah. So maybe I should put tzitzit on this. So the answer is no, we don't put tzitzit on this. Even though it has 4 corners over here in the back, it's cut open. You know why? It says the Rashba. There's a tshuva of the Rashba and the Beit Yosef brought down there. Many poskim. What they say is that a beged like this is not going to be hayav and tzitzit. And the reason is because most of it is closed, and a little bit is open on the bottom. So if it's a little bit open on the bottom, that's not called 4 corners. Only if it's open, mostly open, more than 50%. If it's more than 50% rov, the majority is open, so then it's like you have to put tzitzit. But this is mostly closed, right? Unless I tear it, if I tear it up, then it'll be open. But I'm not going to tear it, right? So therefore, the rule is that since it's mostly closed, it's not considered to be chayav b'tzitzit. Right? That's the idea. There's also another interesting thing is, sometimes a person, what happens is that he has 4 corners on a beged, okay? And what he does is he folds up the corner and he sews it, he sews up the corner and it becomes round. Or something like that. He folds it up. So now, what happens over here? If I fold it up like this, right? I fold it and I sew it. Now it has no corner over there. Is it chayav and tzitzit? So says the Shulchan Aruch, in a case like that, it's chayav and tzitzit. You know why? Because we're afraid that you're going to open it up again. This when you closed it with the sewing, you did like an amateur job, so therefore you may open it again. So therefore the rule is that even if you sewed it up, you still have to, you can't say, oh, now it's patur from tzitzit because I took away the corner. But if you cut off the corner, right, let's say he took scissors, he cut the corner, okay? So then, there's no corner there anymore, it's round now, right? So now it's patur. It doesn't have 4 corners anymore, right? This is halakha, So, one more thing I want to tell you about the strings, right? About the fringes, the tzitzit, the strings themselves. What's the length that the tzitzit has to have? The size of the tzitzit. The length. What is the length? How many strings do we have on each one? We have 4 strings on each one, right? And we fold it over like this. We put it inside the hole. We fold it over, and then it's 8. Becomes 8, right? It's really 4, but now it looks like it's 8. Okay. How long does it have to be? This tzitzit?
5.
Minimum is 24 centimeters, which is 12 fingers, thumbs, 12 thumbs. According to one opinion. There's another opinion that says it has to be 8 centimeters. So the minhag is, says the Shulchan Aruch, that we do 24. So therefore it should be at least, each tzitzit should be at least 24 centimeters after it's already tied. After you tied it, and you did everything, the knots, the tying, everything, has to be at least 24. So if it's shorter than that, right, you should maybe get another one, right, get a different one, because it's not really, but if it was already long, and then it got shorter later on, it's okay, because it was already, when you made it, it was long. Now, let me ask you a question. Let's say I have tzitzit, right? And the tzitzit is very long. Sometimes, you go to the store and you buy tzitzit, and it's like so long, it's like it goes down to the floor, Like you bend down a little bit, it's already rubbing on the floor. The tzitzit, so it's too long. It's like I can't wear it like that. It's not practical, So what do? Am I allowed to cut the tzitzit with the scissors, and cut it down to size? So the truth is that it says the Shulchan Aruch, you're allowed to cut it, to make it shorter. As we said, right, the minimum is 24, so don't make it shorter than that. 24 centimeters, right? It should be a little bit more than that, 26, just to be on the safe side, to be a little bit longer. But if I want to cut it, says Shulchan Aruch, I can cut it with scissors. But it says the Ben Ish Chai, that according to Kabbalah, you're not supposed to cut the tzitzit with scissors made out of metal. Barzel, you should not use. So what should you do? So says the Ben Ish Chai, what you should do is cut it with your nails, strong nails. Cut it with your nails or with your teeth, right? Something like that. Today we don't know how to do these things, we're too Americanized, we're too modern, we don't know how to cut with the nails or the teeth. So what do? You know what they have now? They have like these scissors, the special scissors. You go to the store where they sell tzitzit. it's made out of ceramic, the scissors, ceramic scissors. So that one is not metal. So they cut it with that. If you want to make it a little bit shorter, they cut it with that in order to fulfill the halakha of the Kabbalah, the requirement of the Kabbalah. That's what they do. I thought, I said to myself, but those ceramic scissors, they're very expensive. You know how much they cost? I don't know, $50, $100, $150. They're very expensive. Crazy prices, like because it's like a professional tool, it's like for professionals. So if you can't, you don't want to pay that much money. What do you do? Very simple. You know what you do? Buy scissors which are made out of plastic, like for kids, and use that one. If you want to cut with plastic, that's fine. Just don't use metal, right? According to Kabbalah, you shouldn't use metal. So this is the rule, So you can cut with plastic or with ceramic. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen, amen.